Most RPGs make you feel powerful by giving you levels, legendary weapons, and a map covered in objective markers. Outward makes simply reaching the next city alive feel like an achievement. It's a survival RPG where you play an ordinary person. Every single expedition requires preparation, and losing a fight can leave you imprisoned, robbed, or stranded on the other side of the world. It is clunky, demanding, and really unlike almost anything else in the genre. And in 2026, with both expansions included, years of fixes behind it, and the entire game finally complete, this is probably the best time to find out whether Outward is exactly the RPG that you have been missing. The game reaches some incredible highs, but also has some very clear frustrations you need to be prepared for. You begin this as an ordinary person who survives a shipwreck and comes home in debt. And from there you spend the game earning money, learning skills from trainers, figuring out how to survive in a big dangerous world. There are no traditional character levels or experience points. You get stronger by finding better gear, learning skills, and honestly just knowing more about how everything works. Before you leave town, you actually think about what you're carrying: food, clean water, medicine, warm clothes, a tent for sleeping outside. All of this takes up backpack space, and different backpacks even affect how well you dodge in a fight. There's no marker showing your position on the map, so you find your way using rivers, mountains, and roads, basically the same way you would navigate somewhere new in real life. Of course, the weather matters too. If you get caught in the rain, you will take less fire damage, but more lightning damage. Reaching a new city on foot for the first time genuinely feels like an accomplishment, and that's the reason people fall in love with this game. Losing a fight usually doesn't send you back to a checkpoint. The game autosaves constantly, so instead you might wake up in an enemy camp, get dragged off and imprisoned, or wake up somewhere far from where you fell. The game also has a permadeath option if you want it. These defeat outcomes sometimes eat up several in-game days, which matters because a lot of quests run on timers. So if you join a faction and ignore the threat tied to it for too long, the starting town can permanently change or get damaged. The game rarely tells you a clock is running, so this tends to catch people off guard, but it's also why each playthrough ends up feeling different. As for your builds, you learn skills from trainers scattered around the world, and each trainer has one big breakthrough skill that unlocks everything above it in the tree. You only get 3 breakthrough picks for your whole character, so you're really choosing 3 specializations. Magic isn't something you start with either. You have to travel to a specific mountain and permanently give up some of your maximum health and stamina just to unlock a mana bar. Casting is slower and more deliberate, using rune combinations, placed magic circles called sigils, or hexes. So it really is more than just picking spells off a hotbar. Combat is the roughest part of the package probably. The animations are stiff, and fighting several enemies at once gets messy fast. There's a real system underneath it though. Your hits chip away at an enemy's stability, and once that breaks, they stagger or get knocked down. So the fights tend to improve a lot once you're using kicks, traps, and buffs. It gets more manageable with practice, but it never becomes smooth or precise. So go into this knowing this isn't Dark Souls level combat. The story stays in the background, dialogue and cutscenes are pretty basic, and the factions mostly give you different angles on the same conflict, rather than a dramatic main plot. The story takes a backseat compared to the adventure and exploration aspects. These are really the highlight of the game. Now here's why 2026 specifically is a good time to buy. The Definitive Edition bundles in both expansions, the Sorrowborians and the Three Brothers, along with quality of life fixes. The first one adds a new region, a 4th faction, skill trees like Hex Mage and Speedster, and an enchanting system with I think over 80 recipes for upgrading gear. The Three Brothers adds a difficult late game region and a city building section, so at this point the Definitive Edition is essentially the complete game. The major content is all here, and the later updates have mostly focused on fixes. So you may be asking yourself, despite all these flaws, why is this guy clearly recommending the game? It's very simple. The things this game does so well are so rare that the flaws are simply worth putting up with. Very few RPGs make preparation, travel, failure, and discovery feel this meaningful, and even fewer trust you enough to figure these things out for yourself. So if that sounds even remotely appealing, then for you this will probably be one of those flawed but memorable RPGs that can completely pull you in once its fucking systems click.